So if I see something that I need to adjust, I'll just do it on the spot. We're advising right now, and it's just madness. Well, especially like me, we all have our set of advisees, and half the time I'm going to advise for other people in my department that are missing or they're at Rampart Range campus. So pretty hectic schedule.
Oh, you got to set up an account. Okay.
Can you make that a little bigger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, perfect.
Can you see? No?
Yes.
Let me try. If I go
You go to 150, you won't PTA.
There you go.
I'll adjust it for each problem if I need to. Okay, so.
Oh, that's it right there, that's everything.
All right. So think back to Wednesday. Who remembers the different formulas and tables we used? What were the formulas that we used?
FC.
What's FC? What's that?
Finance.
Finance charge. What do we calculate before the finance charge? Usually.
Total of all monthly payments minus amount financed.
What I mean is, what do we do before the finance charge?
Oh,
Amount financed.
Yeah.
Amount financed. And how do we get the amount financed?
Cash down minus down payment.
cash
Or
price.
purchase price minus down payment, right? Once you have that, then you find the total of monthly payments, and you use that to find the finance charge, right? Like someone that just given it to us, what was it? Who was it right here?
What?
Someone said it.
Yeah.
Finance charge.
FC.
Total of monthly payments divided by what?
Well, no.
Maybe we'll have a next test in class. See how that goes.
Sorry.
I have total of all monthly payments minus amount finance.
Right, minus amount finance divided by what? Number of.
Payments.
Okay.
I have these already.
Yeah.
What do you
Maybe
ask?
I'm mixed up. Okay.
You asking what, finance charge or deferred?
Okay. Amount financed.
Yeah.
Next one is finance charge. Then deferred.
And then your
payment.
DPP, which
Yes.
is
Number of payments.
total of all payments plus down payment
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking for?
equals DPP.
Right. So now that we have those three in the back of our minds again,
Florida.
because we're going to be looking at them today, obviously. Because you can see right here, finance charge. There it is right there. Total monthly payments minus amount financed. Okay, so what tables are we using? There was like 4 or 5 of them, right?
Yes.
Too many.
Too many. There was 14.1, 14.2.
What are they called? The APR?
APR. And then the last one.
Amortization to find the monthly payment amount. Right.
Rebate fraction table.
Rebate fraction table to find the interest that you save when you pay it off.
Scheduled payment table.
What is that for?
That's for your outstanding balance, your amount of monthly payments, reduction balance, due and outstanding balance.
Okay.
So if you put in how much interest, you times it by the balance.
Oh, all I wanted was the name of the tables. That's all I was
Well,
worried
it's
about.
schedule of payments at 14.4.
Oh, the schedule of payments. Okay.
Put that camera over there. Like, pointing to
Um,
Then the rebate table,
the little higher.
and then we have annual the APR table,
APR, right? We mentioned that one.
and that was it.
Okay, I think that's all. I think that was all of them.
No, that was it.
Right.
That was enough. Let's put it that
And then the types of problems we also did. We did a schedule of payments problem. We're going to have 1 or 2 of those. And then we also did what? The average. What? Average daily balance. And what is that for? Credit cards, right?
Yes.
Okay. Remember?
17% interest.
Yep.
For years to pay it off.
Okay, let's go ahead and go over these. Like I said, if I have to adjust anything, I'll do it as we go along. Usually it's done. as usual, but kind of in a rush today. Okay, we're buying an Apple iPhone for $309. We're going to put down $100. To get the first answer, the amount we're going to finance, all you do is imagine what here? A minus sign, right? So purchase price minus down payment equals amount financed. We're going to make 12 monthly payments. The amount of each payment is $21. How do we get the total of payments?
12
Multiply.
times 21.
Yes, 12. So we have what here? A multiplication sign times $21. $252. And then the last one, the total finance charge. And they show you right here. You take the total of monthly payments, which is $252, and subtract from it what?
The amount
The amount financed.
which was 209.
Right, 209. Or the total finance charge is 43. Yeah. 252 minus 209, 43. Was that all the formulas?
Yeah.
Good, thanks. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? I'm afraid to ask that.
There's just too many amount, the way it's worded, you could really get that all
You
messed
think?
up.
I don't
Well,
think
when it
so.
comes to number of monthly payments, amount of monthly payments, total.
They
of
give it
monthly
to you though. They give you that.
Thank God they.
You just put a multiplication sign right there
And a minus one.
and a minus sign over it. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's see if we can get this to fit on the screen.
So you're down to 125.
Yeah, okay, we got it. Okay, what do they want? What are the givens and what do they want us to provide? The givens, the purchase price of the product, the car in this case, the down payment, number of monthly payments, total monthly payments, and they want us to give three things: the amount financed, the finance charge, and then now we're going to use the APR table. We're going to use the APR. Remember that's the funny one? Where your answer is going to be in a range. Remember I told you? You see how it's in the drop-down box? So you would pull down this drop-down the box and then choose the right choice. You should have 4 or 5 choices. Let's take a look at it. The first one we want to get is the amount financed. Very simple. What do? Take the purchase price and subtract what from it? A down payment. Okay, minus sign right here. Next thing is the total finance charge. Okay, and we always have to find the amount financed first, right? We always have to find that first because in the finance charge, you have to use the amount financed. They give you the total monthly payments, and all you do is subtract from it the amount financed. So the total of monthly payments, that includes the what? What is included in the total monthly payments?
Amount financed. And the interest rates.
The interest. So what we're doing is we're taking out, when we subtract the amount financed, we're isolating the interest. Does that make sense? We talked about that last time. Okay, any questions about how to use the table? No?
So all of them are going to have a drop-down menu for the APR?
Yep.
Okay.
But take a look at this. This is the last thing we're working on over here, the APR. Look at how it's calculated. You recognize this first number. Where do we get it from?
Right, from total finance.
Finance charge. So the finance charge divided by the what?
The amount financed.
Amount financed. Now you have to remember, multiply by 100. Don't get it confused with the other problem where you have to divide by 1,000. Remember that one? That we're going to see soon. Multiply this fraction by 100. You're going to get this 3064, and then that is when you go to the table. That's whenever you go to the table, and you do what? Take the number of payments,
The periods.
and you go over and you find the range, whatever number, this will fall in between two numbers. So the number that's before it and the number that's after it, you will follow those two to the top of the table, and then your answer will be right there.
So that's how we have to put it in there.
It's a drop-down box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So watch, I'll open up the table. Let me do the table just for a second. Number of payments is 42. Okay, and let's see, that number is 3064.
Yeah, it has two tables.
Number of payments is 42, right here, and then 3064 would be right here. You probably can't see this, I'm sure.
I can barely see it.
What's between those two?
Between 31.50 and 32.04, I think.
We're
30.72.
3264?
Yes.
Okay. never mind.
30.14 and 30.72.
Okay, I'm getting a different answer.
What is between?
My short-term memory is not that great, I'm sorry.
Well,
Okay,
you should-
3064. 3064. All right. So back to this. I had it right the first time.
Yeah, you did,
Right here. Here's the answer right here. So you follow these two columns. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
All the way to the top. Lost my place there.
I got you, don't worry. Hang on.
Keep going.
You know, I got you.
Okay, so up here.
Yep, it says right there, 1515, 1575.
15.5.
These two numbers right here.
Yep.
These two. So your answer, I don't know how well you can see that. I know it's small, but there's nothing I can do about it. So your answer is going to be in a range. Let me bring down the drop-down list. And you can see, this you can see. Let's go to the right just for a second. And you'll choose the correct answer.
Oh, that's easy.
Now see,
Yeah.
in the last chapter, the tables, on certain questions, the tables would come up, certain tables, the questions would.
I didn't know that. Really?
Well, my computer, that's another reason why I brought it in.
Oh, well.
But it was weird, she said something wrong with it, it would be like a
I heard that
hand
once
and yellow.
before. I heard that one time before. Okay, it's getting a little bit loud.
So it was like the tables were different in the book than what were on the actual table.
Use the one on here.
But
That's
if
what I
I
was.
can't, the only thing I can do is use the books.
Right. Well, if you run into a problem, just email me.
That's what I.
If you think you did it correctly, yeah, we'll look at it afterwards. Okay, any questions on this one? Obviously not, right? Because everybody's busy chatting. So it can't be that difficult. Okay, next one.
I wrote
See.
The last word is on the bottom right. Multiply the what? The very bottom, number 3, multiply the what?
Sorry, get down there.
What's number 3?
This is number 3, yes. Number 3, do you recognize it? Isn't it just like the last one?
Yep.
It's exactly like the last one. Well, not exactly. The method is the
Numbers are a
same.
little bit different too.
Well, the numbers are different. It's different in that way, but you know what I mean. You follow the same concept. Same steps. I know. It's been a long day. It's a long weekend.
I understand. I was talking to my advisor earlier today.
Oh, they're going crazy too? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and take a look. I'm not going to repeat myself. This is a smart group.
sort of.
Maybe
Let him go over the test.
99% of us.
Let him go over the test.
So go ahead and take a look, take some notes, ask questions if you have them. If the next problem is just like this one, I'm going to delete it. So I'll try to give you like 2 of each kind or something, you know.
it makes a lot more sense when you see it here as opposed to when you explain it on Wednesday.
Well, the reason I could just use this, but the reason I do that is to take up time. No, I'm just kidding. It's to lay down a foundation before you look at this, just to get the formula straight, and get some notes. Don't forget to multiply by 100 at the bottom. Another suggestion is what I've noticed. Whenever they give you, like in this case, you have two table links, one here and one there. See it?
Yeah.
Because it continues on. Chances are, if they give you two of them, which one are you going to be using? The second one. Otherwise, they'd only give you one.
It's given to us.
Huh? We lost me there.
Oh.
Say that again about tables. Why would you use two?
Okay, the red dot does not mean people disappear.
Oh, yeah. I gotta keep you on your toes.
That takes the place of verbal, what I'm trying to say. Okay. So,
I'm not sure.
no, what was your question again?
You were saying if you have two tables up there, you always choose two. Why?
No, usually the second one. There's two different links.
Yeah.
It's the same table, but it continues on.
Oh.
It's too long.
That's the way it should be. I think it's too long to fit into one of these sheets. Tables. It's too.
So the higher
The number of the month. The higher the number of payments you have. Yeah. So you're usually going to use this one.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, ready for another one?
Yes.
15.
Questions are there?
Oh, I don't know yet.
15 it says.
So far. Let's see what this one is.
Is it number 4?
Yeah, number
This
4.
is number 4. Let's have a quick look at it. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do this one. So this asks you to do the monthly payment.
This is number 4.
Yes, number 4. We haven't skipped anything yet. It's in order. Okay, they want you to do it by the table method and by the formula method. They want you to use both. Okay? Now, what do you notice about the answers?
They're pretty much closely to
They're very close, but they are a little
bit different.
different. So what does that tell you for your problem? You're going to have two different answers. They won't be the same exact answer. It might be a few cents off. Okay? Let's take a look at how we do this. They give us all the information we need up here. Everything is given to you. You just have to concentrate on how to use the table to get the monthly payment and how to do it manually. Okay? And we did this on Wednesday, didn't we? So here's the one where you're going to divide by 1,000. Do you remember that? That's the monthly payment problems. You're going to be dividing by 1,000 in the formula. So what are we doing?
Why
We're
does that-
taking,
I just have a quick question. Why does it have the little asterisk there after 2808? The little
Well,
mark.
usually they explain it somewhere. I don't see the little. Hold on. Maybe it's down here. One second.
Sorry.
No, it's not. Now, I'm not going to strain my brain to try to
It's
figure out
okay.
why at the moment.
I'm not gonna.
Usually it would be down there at the bottom, right? But look at the formula. Look at the numbers we're using. The purchase price minus the what? The down payment. That gives you the amount financed. Now, what do you notice? Look up here. They already have the amount. Everything is given to you up here. You have the amount financed. So do you have to do that step?
No.
Do you need to do this? No. So for this particular problem, you would start off right here with the amount financed and divide it by 1,000. Now, to do that, you don't need your calculator. You just take the decimal and move it 3 places, 3 to the left, right? And you're going to get 5.75. 5.75. Now, this is where you go to the table. Which table is it again? What is it called?
It's right here, table over. She said.
Table 14.
Fraction table?
It's
The rebate?
fraction.
Is that
No.
I don't have anything.
Amortization,
The one before it.
amortization table.
It's page 344, whatever that annual percentage rate table, 14.
It's the annual,
Annual.
it's the amortization table.
You said on the monthly payments, we had to multiply by 1,000. Correct?
No. Divide by 1,000.
Okay. Okay, I just misheard.
Right. It was the other problem
Okay.
that we multiplied by.
Right, plus.
Anyways, the amortization table.
That comes out right.
Okay.
What is that?
I'm going to pull the table up in just a second, but you have to stop the side conversations. There's too many going on today. Thanks. Okay, 5.75 is what we get. That's where we're at so far. Now, this 2808, that is the table factor. And now I can see where that comes from. Okay, so when you go to the table, you look at these two numbers here. When you go to the table, you're going to take what? 15.5%, which is the APR, for 48 months. And where they intersect, that's where you will get 28.08. You see what's explained right here? That is for this. Just notice it.
In the formula, is a plus sign or?
This?
That's a plus sign.
No, on the
next
bottom.
formula at the bottom.
I'll get there. It's a
Yes.
plus sign. Yeah,
1984.96
it's a plus.
It's 750.
Could you click on that table up there so we can compare it to the one that's in the book?
Okay,
Is it the loan or is it, there's two.
You go to
different
48,
and-
48 months, right?
2808.
It was 48 months?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 15.5, it's right
Yep.
there on the far right.
15.5, right here. Do you see where I'm pointing?
Yep,
28.8. You see how to get it?
Roger that.
yep, got it.
48 months. 15.5% interest.
Okay, so it's a loan, see, this book here is showing that the top one is a loan and this one's a different one, mortgage principal.
Which table are you looking at?
Why
I know that.
One is loan
Amortization.
Loan amortization. That's
Okay,
the
because
one.
there's one underneath that says it's a trust.
Yeah, make sure it's a loan amortization table.
Can we go back to that?
Okay.
How is that 198,
I was just kidding.
1,984.96?
Okay, I'm getting there.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm still on this right here. Does everybody see how to get it using the table? Okay, now it's time for the manual, which is probably even easier. Question?
Yes. How did they get the 2808? Because it's not given.
It's in the table.
Oh.
It's the table factor.
Oh, gosh.
It's the table factor.
That's right, you just went over that.
All right.
Just so you know.
So the next one, this is the manual way. Now, do you recognize those two numbers? That is the amount financed and what? The finance charge. When you add the amount financed and the finance charge, what does that equal? Total of monthly payments. So it can be thought of as either one of those. The amount financed plus the finance charge, or the total of monthly payments, which is right here. So you would take this number. You don't have to do this calculation. You can just take this number here and divide it by 48, which is the number of payments, right?
Okay.
And then there's your monthly payment. And it's a little bit less than the table.
So that was a plus sign.
Yes, that's a plus sign. It's kind of hard to see.
So less by 30.
But you can just use this right here.
They just added this.
I'm sorry, Professor.
That's all right.
I'm still not understanding.
Okay.
About 28.08.
Okay, fine. I'll do it again. All right. So, but you're good up to this point.
Yes.
All right. The 28.08 is the table factor. It's the number we get from the table. So I'm going to open the table up like I did a while just now, and the loan, the number of payments is 48,
Okay.
and the interest rate is 15.5. So where those intersect in the
I
table,
see. Okay.
you get 28.8. You got it?
Okay.
Any questions on either part?
Now we know what that asterisk is.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see. I saw the first one, but I didn't see the other one there.
I need to write that.
Huh?
Any book you read, they have that on the bottom. It's got the
Usually it's a business bottom. You ready for another one?
Yes.
footer.
This will be number 5. Let's see what it takes. Let's see what it looks like first.
Same thing.
I'm gonna get rid of that one.
Yes.
It's just like the last one.
That helps.
Okay. All right, here we go. Now this is a long one. See how long it is?
All right, I love long ones. They're so cool.
So what I'll have to go back and forth if I want to leave it this large for you, the font size, whatever you want to call it, resolution. Okay, look at the givens and look at what you have to provide. This is just like on Wednesday. In these types of problems, they always want 2 things. That is the rebate, which is the amount of interest you're saving by paying off something early. Remember? You're going in to pay it off early before it's due. And the next thing you have to find is very simple. Once you have the rebate, you can get the payoff. Now, what is the payoff? That is the amount that you're paying on that day to be done with the account, to bring it down to a 0 balance. That payoff amount changes every day, usually. Or it might be good for 7 days, like they say if you call them and you want to pay something off. Okay, so how do we do this? Look at step 1. Now, why do we have these 2 numbers, 30 and 12? Look at the top. 30 is what we would usually pay for 30 months, right? But we've paid how many months so far? 12. You multiply them both by the 800, which is the monthly payment, right? So you get 24,000, and that's what you would pay if you paid it off to the end of the term. You pay 24,000. So far, you have paid what? 9,600. So we subtract what you paid so far from what you would usually pay in the end, and this is what you owe today, the balance outstanding. Now, are you going to end up paying that? Are you going to pay this in the end when you pay it off?
Oh, no.
No, because you're going to get a rebate on some of the interest, right? Okay, but that's the balance outstanding. So we're going to use the balance outstanding further down. So we need this later, right? Now, step number 2, it's very easy. The total, they want the finance charge. You know how to get that. We've done it a million times. The total of monthly payments. And right here, you have to calculate it, right? We also did it here. 30 times 800, 24,000. It's right here too. The amount financed. Remember this. They don't call it the amount financed. They call it the loan in this problem. Same thing, loan. Okay? So the interest you would be paying would be $2,000. Are we going to pay $2,000 in interest? No, we're going to pay less than that. Now, what's happening in step 3? Why do we have 30 and 12?
Because you have to find out how many months left are to pay on the loan.
Correct. So 30 is the usual number of months, the original number of months. And then we got the 12 how? We subtracted it from 30, or excuse me, the 18. You have 18 more payments remaining if you would keep paying monthly. So remember, don't make a mistake when you go to the rebate fraction table and use 12. You're going to use 30 and 18. You're going to use 30. I'm not to that step. I'm getting there next, but you will use 30 and 18. You have
table.
Yes. Now you have to use that rebate fraction table twice on these problems. 2 times, right? Because you have to look up 30 and you have to look up 18 months. Let me scroll up a little bit so you can see the rest of it.
So on the table right there, sir, how does it, if it has, your months on the left-hand side, which one do you know to use, the 30 or the 18?
Because you're always going to use, look right here. and I'll open up the table in a second. This would be the 30 months, and this would be the 18.
Oh, okay.
So if we look at the table,
What was it?
I'll come back to this in just a second. Take a look at the table. Hopefully it's big enough for us. Yeah. Okay. So we had how many months to go? 18? See the 18 right here?
Right.
You go one space to the right, just right here. You see the 171?
Nope.
There it is. Okay? So what do you see on here? See the 171?
How do we know I just go to 1 because we go one time over with that 18, right?
You just go one space, one column to the right. And there's your
And
answer.
you have two columns in the, remember he explained that.
Yeah.
These two columns you pay attention for this, and these two columns you pay attention for that.
You're just going to use two columns because in the table it has
I remember.
the months continue on the third column. It goes to 31 months or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the
Okay.
rest of the months on the second, too.
So what you just did to get the 171, you do the same thing, but next time you use 30. Mhm.
It's 18 and 30.
Now think about what's going on. This fraction represents the portion of the interest that you're going to save, which is your rebate. Okay? What do we do next? Look at step 5. We take the fraction we got in step 4, multiplied by what? The finance charge. So we're taking a fraction of the finance charge is what we're doing. We're taking a fraction of it. And that shows, like I just said, there's your rebate. The amount of interest you're going to save. In other words, think about it this way. What if this fraction was 1 over 1? What would your answer be? 2,000. But you're not paying back 2,000 in interest. You're going to get a rebate. Because there's 18 months that you're not going to pay, right? That's how much you're saving.
So.
Now notice, that is your first answer up here.
And then you
What's
have
that?
to take.
How will you get?
Okay, one question at a time. One.
How will you get for 465?
The 465, when you go to the rebate fraction table, you go down number of payments, or the first column, 30, and then just go one column to the right.
465 days and the 30 payments. Right?
Huh?
It's 465 days equals 30 payments.
No, don't use the word days.
Well, it's just. No, I'm just trying to figure it out how you got 465. It's 1 year
It's
plus
the sum
6
of
months.
digits. Remember I explained that? Which is not really relevant to do this. It's the sum of digits. If you add the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 30, that will be the answer. Does that make sense?
So the 465 came from the 30 and the 171 came from the 18.
Yes. It's a lot easier than it looks.
Mhm. There's one more step though, because we have to
Yeah,
take.
we have to get this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, so you can part
Is it clear now?
Let's take this.
Yeah, you
so
should
30
say.
month page and then.
Mhm.
Okay, there's one more step, and this is an easy one. That is the payoff. The payoff, okay? So how do we get this amount? This is the rebate. Do you recognize it? We subtract the rebate from what?
The amount, the outstanding balance.
The balance outstanding. So in your notes, you should have balance outstanding minus rebate. Gives you the payoff. Balance outstanding minus rebates.
Balance outstanding.
Yeah, the outstanding.
We got that in the first step.
How much?
Oh, I see. I like it the way they put step 1, step 5.
Is that a multiplication
Yeah. Step 1.
times 171? 171 divided by 2.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
For step 4?
Yes.
No, step 5.
Which one are you talking about? This
Step
one?
5.
You're right here, right? No? Step 4? There is no multiplication. There's no multiplication right here. They're just showing you how to use the table right here.
Table for you, get those numbers. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, you maybe take because of the decimal point. You maybe take because of the decimal point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, some of those things are kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
Step 1 and step 5. Now, I understand, see the parentheses, it says step 4, step 2, I understand that one, but I'm not understanding the one down there.
This one?
Yeah, it says step 1, wouldn't that be,
It's the
It's-
answer you got.
It's the balance outstanding. This number right here?
Up there on
no,
top.
no, in parentheses down there, it says step 1 and step 5.
Oh, that? Ignore that.
Well, it made sense
I'm
up
trying to
on
make
top,
things
it just didn't
simple
make
here.
sense there.
Why should we make them more complicated than what they are?
Which is the 14,000.
Step 1, which is this, and then step 5, what do we get in step 5? We got the rebate. And that's why I didn't mention this, because I didn't think it was
That one
necessary.
wasn't right, because when it's
Trying to keep it simple.
done that way. it's
But you're always welcome to ask.
Yeah, I'll erase that one too, because it has a minus, the other one is multiplied. This one is not multiplied.
All right. Anybody still writing? You ready for another one?
Yes. This is worse than geometry.
Oh, no way.
It's getting there with all these formulas.
Well, the next chapter will be different. You know, they're all different.
Well, it is.
Throw it out.
I am not rewriting all that.
Oh, Lord.
Who's going to get rid of that one?
No, I'm gonna give you 2 of each kind. So
Is it number 7?
I gave you a break on the
Is this
monthly
number
payment
7?
thing.
Is this number 7?
Yeah. Let me
No, number,
number 7. Yes.
number 7, yeah.
Okay. So I can only get so much on the screen. Go ahead and take a look. It is just like the last one. You work it the same way. No surprises, as far as I can see.
Nope.
Same thing.
Identical.
Yeah, I'm not writing all that.
Yeah, if you know how to do one of them, you can do all of them. If they're the same type of problem.
Yeah, I got the.
Sometimes there's a little twist in some of them, you know, and you want to get that in your notes if there's some difference, but
I don't see any difference.
there's no difference.
They're giving us everything except for what's in those boxes, right?
Yes. Three more weeks.
It's almost over.
You have an A, don't you?
I believe so.
He did.
Well, sometimes the people that are most stressed are the ones that have the highest grades.
That's right.
Sometimes, but maybe that's why maybe that's why they have the highest grades, because they're concerned about it. Then I have the people that come and sit through the whole class and don't do the quizzes and then just make an F. That makes no sense. I don't think anybody in here is that. Oh no! I just try to make sure I look at the whole classroom because I'm standing over here the whole. It's kind of hard for me to talk and explain things from this end. So.
Especially when you gotta move the slides over.
Everybody has an A, don't they? How can you not have an A?
You don't take a
I
The
would
quiz.
class
have
average is 90%. I think I just checked it, 90%. So
I still have to email you.
send me an email.
Yeah, did I get so.
Whatever.
Yeah, I get cost. Some
Me
of my
too.
design things, I forget things.
Other things. Yeah. Okay.
I'll give you more things.
Are you seeking help for that?
It's, you just gotta manage it right, time wise. Yeah.
Time
and-
management. Yeah. That's the difference between success and failure.
Oh, yeah.
You could do a whole
Mm-hmm.
semester on time management.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
Well, the more responsibilities you have, the more important it is. So it goes all the way down to step 5 here. So I'll raise it up a bit. I'm sure that if you're writing some of this stuff down, that if you've gotten that far, right? And again, they mentioned step 1 and step 5 at the bottom because what you're doing is subtracting with the result of step 5 from the result in step 1. So, ready for another one?
No, not
Like
yet.
this one?
Almost.
Another one of these?
So if we go to the chart and we look at 16 and come all the way down the chart, it's going to show us what was the number?
16?
Yes.
16 is the total number of payments.
Right.
And then we paid 13, so we have 3 left. So you're going to use 16 here, and you can use 3 here in the table.
Okay.
Okay, that's not bad.
No more like that.
I bet the next one is probably just like this one. I don't know yet. I didn't get a chance to review it. Ready for another one?
Yes.
Is it? Let's see. No, it's different. Okay. Something different. Now this is number 8. Okay. This is the credit card problem. This is where you have to find the average daily balance and the finance charge. Now, one thing I want to point out that you really want to hear, so don't ask me again. I'm going to say it right now. Right here, you'll need this. See this 2.0%? You need that to get the second answer, to get your finance charge. Because you're going to take the average daily balance and multiply it times 0.02. Yeah. But it's up here in the middle. That's why I'm pointing to it now. It's not down at the bottom or anything. It's it's in the middle of the problem. So it's kind of easy to miss. So do you recognize the statement? We did one of these last week. And how many days in the billing cycle? 30. So it's not 28. It's not 31. It should be 30. And notice they divide by 30 down here. We had the discussion Wednesday, remember? I think it was 31 they had to use in that problem or something.
Yeah, I would recommend where it says number of days of current balance.
Where?
Where it says number of days of current balance. Always add those up. It's either going to equal 30 or 31.
Right. So whatever you get there, that's what you should use. Right.
So add those numbers up.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to go over the whole thing. Okay, so here we go. All right, 30-day billing cycle. Now the beginning balance is $3,000, the beginning of the cycle. What day does the cycle start on? The 16th. So it goes from the 16th of one month till 30 days later, and it continues to do that, right? $3,000. How many days did the balance remain at $3,000?
3.
3. How do we know that? From the 16th to the 19th. And on the 19th, we made a payment. So that is going to reduce our balance, right? We owe less now. So that payment is $80. Look at what's happening here. The balance stayed it stayed at $3,000 for 3 days. Imagine a multiplication sign right here, all the way down. So you multiply 3 times 3,000, and you get 9,000.
And this is what it equals, each one.
Right. You do it the same way all the way across. One thing you have to be careful of is counting the days in between the transactions. Sometimes people, because if you're one number off, guess what? It throws your entire problem off.
How
Do
they get
you
to
have
9?
to calculate that?
See how I get
Is
the
it going to
4?
ask for you to calculate?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to understand that, okay, there's 3 days between the 16th and 19th.
Forget how we got.
So 19 minus 16, 3.
No.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you go from 16 to 17, 18, 19. So don't use 4. Don't include the 16th and the 19th. You can include one or the other. Does that make sense?
No, how did you get the 9?
Are you jumping ahead
On
of me?
the days
Yeah,
of
just
current
add.
balance.
Hold on. Yeah, let me.
All right, you overachiever, slow down.
Everything else is going to be provided for you though. All you have to do is figure out.
It'll be just like this.
Just the days.
Yes, you have to. Yeah, and so if anybody else is asking this is not provided.
Yep.
Right. No, because this is the explanation. See, anything in the explanation is not provided to you. Everything above that might be, except for this. So wherever you see blanks, that's what you have to fill in.
So when you're working notes here, basically create a table when you're working the problem.
Yeah, just a simple table on paper.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. So after we made a payment, we did what? We subtracted 80, which was the payment, from 3,000, and we got 2920. So how many days did the balance remain at 2920? 11. How do we know that? Because between the 19th and the 30th, there's 11 days. Here's our next transaction, 11 days later at Home Depot for $22.50. Now that is going to increase our balance because we're buying something. So look here, we add $22.50 to what? The previous balance, which was $29.20. Add $22.50 to that, you get $51.74. You see how I got that? And we multiply times 3. How come?
What days in the cycle of the
Right here, between the 30th and the 3rd, 3 days. So how many days in September? Obviously 30. Now if it were 31, that would change things, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or would it?
September has 30
No,
days.
actually, okay, yeah, it would.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's next to it.
So we're right here. We're still right here. Okay. Now for the next one, we have 2 more. 4 days later. 4 days later, what happened?
Made a payment.
We made a payment for $80 again. So we're going to take the previous balance of $51.70 and do what? Subtract 80 from it. And that's how I got $50.90. You're reducing your balance, right? So $50.90 times 4, where did we get the 4 days from? Between the 3rd and the 7th. 7 minus 3. 4 days. So 4 times $50.90, of course, right? And then the last one, how do we know to use 9 days? To get from the 7th
10/16.
to get to the 16th, there's 9 more days. Everybody see that?
How do you know to go to 16?
Because 9/16.
Okay, if you don't count the 7th, think about it that way. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 9. Do you see what I'm saying?
So the 8th through the 16th.
We went from the 7th of October.
Mhm.
We got out of December. We're in October.
September.
We're in October. And now we're going from the 7th. We're going back to the beginning of the billing cycle. Because we didn't do anything else. For the rest of the cycle, we didn't do anything else. There's no more transactions. So the balance will remain at that amount for the next 9
The
days.
billing cycle is at 16.
Looks like
Yeah.
we're running out of money.
So to get from the 7th to the 16th of October, that'll start the next billing cycle. See what I'm saying? That's how we got the 9. Everybody see that?
Yeah, now I do.
Now you know?
Congratulations.
Knowing tax about
Okay. But it was a cash advance. It was a cash advance. So that means that you're taking money off the card, and that is going to do what? That will increase your balance. So we add the 70 to the previous balance. So 50.90 plus 70 is 51.60 times the 9 days. So a multiplication sign is right here in the middle, remember? And you just multiply across for each one of them. In the end,
And that's where you get the amount of the extension?
Yes, the extension amount. You're going to add all these together, and when you get that amount, here's the amount right here, it's kind of small, 123,430. You'll divide it by the number of days in the billing cycle. Now, remember the analogy I gave you? Who remembers the analogy that I gave on Wednesday? No one?
Analogy of what?
We're making our brains work.
I'm just wasting my breath.
Analogy on what? This?
Yeah. It was about,
The minimum balance.
no, it was
The balance
how you do your
outstanding minus the
grades,
even.
how you figure out your grades. So if you have 4 exams,
Average.
how to figure out your average at the end of the semester, right? So let's just keep it simple. If you have 4 exams and you make a 90 on each one, 4 times 90, which is what we're doing here, same concept, that would be 360. What is the total points? 400. So 360 over 400, that's going to give you what? 90%. You made a 90 on every test. You know,
Yeah.
I was keeping it easy. So, but it's the same concept though. It works just like what we're doing here. You know? Except here, we're dividing by 30 instead of by 4 exams. Anyway. All right, so here's your extension total divided by the 30 days in the cycle. That gives you the first answer. Here it is. The next part is very simple. What do? Take this average daily balance and multiply times what?
0.02.
0.02. 2%. I work with her. I can do that to her. So.
Okay.
And you too. So. Okay, so and you too. Anyway, moving right along. Any questions? So you want another one like this?
No. Wait.
Will most of them be 30 days up?
Most of them, yeah. Well, we'll find out in a second.
It's not that bad.
It's not bad at all.
Seriously.
I don't know.
It's not as bad as the last one.
Let's see what comes up next.
What
Reach
was
for
that
the hat and
one?
see what comes up next.
Yeah.
Now, the other one in here though, you said that 2%?
Shh. Huh?
You said that 2%?
It's
You
a-
had the
Multiply
multiply
it
at the end?
times the extension total.
Give you
Or
81
excuse me,
something.
times the average daily balance.
And how did you move that decimal? Because the last example I had, it was point.
They're going to give you the interest rate in the problem. It'll say 2%.
Yeah.
Just move the decimal 2 places to the left. You have 0.02. Come on.
Okay.
5% would be 0.05. I see people writing notes. How you going to do this one? Let me take a look at it first.
Well, there it is.
Only bad faster.
Yeah, this is not bad at all. Okay. And we got 15 minutes left, so let's get through this. All right. Do you recognize the name of the shop? Because it's here, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, so to help people during these tough economic times, this motorcycle shop is going to offer a special deal. To finance a new motorcycle, if you qualify for qualifying customers, you have to put down 12% though. That's the catch. You have to put down at least 12% of the purchase price of the bike. So they're going to charge you 8% interest, not too bad, for 36 months or 3 years. Now Rich is going to, or he's interested in calculating what is his monthly payment going to be if the cost of the bike is $29,396. Okay? And you can see what the monthly payment is right here. But let's go through the steps. Here are the steps. All right? So the first one is the purchase price of the bike times 12% or 0.12. Why do we do that? Because we have to figure out
You have
the,
to put it in investment.
we have to figure out the what? The down payment. There's your down payment. Subtract the down payment. Look at step 2. Subtract down payment from
The total amount.
The loan.
the original price of the bike, the original price,
Mhm.
and then this is going to be the amount financed.
And then you divide that by 5.
Take the amount financed, see how it comes to step 3. Divide, not multiply, divide by 1,000. Okay? Now when you go to the table, you're going to get 2587 by the way. When you go to the table, Here's your table factor. How do we get that table factor? We just did this earlier, remember? Which table is it?
It's 36 months.
Wait a minute.
36 months.
Oh, it's in between them.
It's in blue.
It even,
It's all about the
it even says the name of the table right here.
Amortization table. Big A words.
We were looking at this. Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never seen
All right, so we divide by 1,000. We get this number. We go to the table. Here's the table factor that we will get based on the terms, the number of months, right, and this number. And this one.
Right. I got it.
And you get a monthly payment of $810.77. This is the same thing we did previously. Remember I gave you a problem where you had to do the monthly payment and you had to use the table and do it manually?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing here, but here you're just using the table. It's the only difference. So it's just like, which number was it? Number 3, 4, whatever? It was one of those.
So we use the 36 months for the table, right?
Yes.
Easy one.
Are you ready for another one?
Yeah.
Yes. One second.
It was okay. 6 months.
Okay, so 36 months, right?
Yes.
8%. 36 months at 8%. I've got all these tables open here. Okay. So here's 36 months right here. See where I'm pointing?
Now 3134.
Go over to 8%. 3134. See it?
Yes.
And that's the number that's in your problem, right?
Yep.
That's where it comes from.
Well, see, that was, because there were two different percentages. Me, I would have picked out. I like to pick out the numbers and then figure out where they go into formula. Trying to figure out which.
Ready for another one?
Yep.
Okay, 2 more. I don't know how far we're going to get.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
no.
you can,
Oh,
no, no.
Right on. Rock on, man. Rock on.
This one has everything in it. The only thing we haven't done is the deferred payment price. How do we get the deferred payment price?
Use the table.
No. There's no table for that. No. You see a table link up there?
Hold on, let me do it.
Well, there's one right here. You have to use the table to get the APR. Shh. You have to use the table to get the APR in this problem. Don't start taking notes yet.
Deferred payment price is your total of all
I'm trying to
monthly
point
payments.
something out here if you'll listen to me. The deferred payment price is the only thing different in this problem, so I'm going to delete.
Thank you.
All right.
That's 2 out of 15.
Well, I had the
Can we
formula
do
already
3,
for you.
4?
So no number 10.
On hey,
Yes.
I wrote it down in my notes 20 pages ago.
Okay, number 11.
Last
Let's see.
one.
Rebate, payoff. We did 2 of those, right?
Yes.
Yay.
I try to give you at least 12 problems or something like that. Okay. Let's see, what is
That's
this?
the same
That's the
as
one
before.
you just deleted. Oh, that one's.
Not quite. It didn't have the deferred payment on it.
Okay, right here they want,
What's the number again?
The more per
oh,
month.
okay, it looks like a comparison between banks or something. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, how many problems do we have so far?
9.
That's all?
I think we already have less than that.
He's
We
in the
deleted some.
That's
We
No, we
deleted
have
3 out of
So,
Somebody give me the right number. I'm hearing different numbers.
1,
How many numbers?
two,
How many problems do you have?
3,
we have 9.
4,
9.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 problems.
You have 9 in your notes.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Now the only thing difference, don't write anything yet. The only thing different
Is the
here
more per month?
is a comparison between the monthly payment if you're using different banks. They have different interest rates. So you're trying to make a choice between using one bank or the other one.
Oh,
And then how
And
much?
usually what you would do is choose the bank that's going to give you the lower monthly payment, which would be this one.
Mhm.
And they ask you at the end here, the last part, this is the difference between this monthly payment at one bank and the monthly payment at bank 2.
So you just subtract it.
Right. But we're not going to do this one. Is that okay?
Mhm.
Yes.
Damn, that's an easy one.
Now, what should be on that one?
Well, you got enough. Because what's coming up, the reason I'm being so nice today is because on Wednesday, guess what we're doing Wednesday?
We're going over the test for all
The
these.
test review for 12, 13, and 14. So you're going to see some more of what you saw today. Again, at least one of each. So you're going to get it again. You know,
I thought we weren't gonna get a final exam.
we're not done. We have 3 more chapters.
Oh,
We got more chapters after this.
3 weeks.
We have 3 weeks left too.
Mhm.
Any questions about anything?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh. Yeah. Thank you.
Huh?
So we only have a
So wait, we're done?
9,
13, 14, 15 is deleted?
Yes.
11, 12, 13, 14.
Why does it say question 12 and 15?
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, what's it say?
Pretty safe, but yeah.
Let me make sure. Just hold on. I didn't see that. Sorry. That was a rebate problem. Don't worry about that one. This is an APR. Let me see what the next one is. I didn't even notice that. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Oh, we do need this one. Yeah.
I got it.
So I'm gonna go back. Give me 1 second. We're almost. Ooh, don't do that.
Hit F5. Maybe.
It's not letting me go either way.
Fresh.
F5.
Oh,
F5. No.
F5. Give me 1 second.
F5 refreshes the page.
That's all right. We have 8 minutes. I thought I was at the end of the quiz. My fault. Sorry.
So your
Now,
fingernails.
how do you focus that? That's like so far away. Like, see,
Oh.
yours is closer to mine is.
No, you're fine.
How come yours is closer than mine? It's bigger than mine.
Because I'm up there and you're in a little bit back. But you're still able to see this one.
Yeah, I thought 9 was. I didn't think that was quite enough actually. All right.
You don't need to see all this part.
I need 15.
You'll
I
get
would
it.
say my battery's going down.
Yeah, you get 9 minutes back. You'll be okay.
Okay, so let's jump to.
15.
Yeah. Well, let me take care of this one first. Hold on.
Yay, take care of it.
I guess it's 10.
It's an APR problem. That's all it is. Okay, and then this one's important. This is the only one you have on
You got it.
this. So remember on Wednesday, we did one of these. You're making 3 payments. So here are your 3 payments, or 3 months. And the calculations, remember, it's the same across for each one. So if you can do the first row, then you can do the second one and the third one. Let's take a look at the first row, or let's take a look at the top. Isn't that the same scenario we had last time with the rocking chair? Wasn't that it?
Sounds about right.
I'm thinking of other class, never mind. Okay.
What's revolving?
So, all right, a $500 rocking chair. That's what she's buying. So, the terms of a revolving charge, that's credit card terms, is 1.5% on the unpaid balance from the previous month. Now look at that, 1.5. You're going to use that in your calculations. If she pays $100 per month, look here. So when you're working this problem, while you're reading the scenario at the top, you can take the payment and plug it in immediately. Bam! It's the same thing all the way down. That's what I would do. Get it out of the way. So it's gone. Now complete a schedule for the first 3 months. They give you this table. I'm not sure if we're going to need it or not. But right now the balance is $500. Why? Because we paid $500 for the rocking chair. We're going to make our first payment. How do we get the $750? 1.5% interest, or 0.015, times what?
500.
Times the outstanding balance. Now, that is the amount that is going to go to interest. The next thing we have to do, we did this already, right? The next thing is how much is the reduction in balance for that first payment period, that first month. How do we get $92.50?
100 minus the
100,
interest.
the payment amount minus the interest payment. So 100 minus $750. That makes it real easy for you.
And the outstanding balance, you subtract that from the 500.
To get the new outstanding balance, you subtract what?
The outstanding balance from the, to the far left, for the amount that.
The outstanding balance minus what? The reduction in balance. Outstanding balance minus the reduction in balance equals the new outstanding balance. That one will then carry over to the second payment period. Now, if you understood that first row 2 and row 3 are the same way. Any questions so far?
So the 500 times the 7.5.
Mm-hmm. Times 1.5.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll give you one, and you can like.
I jab it on
Yeah.
you all the time.
now what, I lost that one.
No, it's just the outstanding balance times
500 times
right times 0.015.
equals the 7.5.
The 750. Yep.
Oh, okay.
When you take 750 minus the outstanding balance gives you the reduction. Take the reduction minus the outstanding balance gives you the far right the outstanding balance too.
And I can't promise you that your payment's going to be $100 per month. That would make it really easy for you if it is.
Well, yeah.
Maybe it will be. So is a table necessary here?
I think so.
I don't think so. We don't need a table. So don't be confused. When you see that table link, I don't think you're going to need it for anything. Not that I can see.
Unless you can check your answer with it.
Well, they show everything I'm saying down here. But yeah, I don't think you need that. Okay, do you understand how to do the next 2 rows? All right. I'm hanging on for the next few minutes, so if you're done, if you're ready to leave, it's time. Go ahead and take off. And see you on Wednesday. Yeah.
Well, we're going to small. Tomorrow morning.
Get you problems paid.
That's why I recorded.
I know, because when I'm taking the plane, I can sit right next to me. That way,